Home sweet home, no place like home. I'm a king at home, so baby feel at home.
Hello, Parmedio, and welcome to this special series of Let Me Begin with CKnaija. I actually recorded a new video for series 3, episode 7. So that's the second part of the lesson on logophonicity and logophoric pronouns, I think it was called. I accidentally deleted the video, and I'm currently at my parents' place for the Christmas break. So that video I'm gonna have to record again and edit again and so on and so forth. So in the meantime, um, I thought, why not start a new series? This is something I want to do in the future, but I just realized I could do it at the moment, by recording with Zoom. So I'm recording this on Zoom, and hopefully it's recording both sound and video. So yeah, in this series, we're going to be learning Ibibio through Ibibio and ethnic names. So the first name we're going to learn is Enobasi. Enobasi. So the verb adino means to give. Adino means to give. No is the command, the verb give. Adi is the infinitive marker, making it an infinitive verb. So, for example, if you say give, that's a command. You're telling someone to give, give. That's a command. It's an imperative. But if we say to give or giving, um, to give or giving, then that makes it an infinitive verb. So adino means to give or giving. Eno means gift. Eno is a noun meaning gift. And let's not forget our vowels, Ibibio vowels. We have Ibibio vowels here. A, E, O, and U. So when we see the O underneath, it's an O sound. The O without the dots underneath, it's an O, A, E, O, and U. Also, another thing is that Ibibio names are often very religious. They have the word Abasi in them. So Abasi means God. Abasi actually is the name of a god. So, like the Igbos have Chineke. So these names that you will find in a lot of African languages don't actually just mean God. They were the names of gods, of actual gods. Obviously, with the slavery and colonization, all these things, um, and that the bringing of Christianity. Um, these religions were lost. They then referred to the Christian God by using the old names of the gods of the inhabitants. So if we have Eno by itself, it means gift. Abasi means God. But when we join it together, as we have here, Eno, Abasi. So that's two different words. Eno, Abasi, two different words. But once we make it Eno, Abasi, Eno, Abasi. So that raising of the tone here, let's highlight it in yellow. So that highlighting of the tone, that raising of the tone at this point of the second word makes basically put in between these words the word of. So for example, we have ufok word, meaning ufok means house, word means books, right? But once we raise the tone of this word here, after the second word, we raise this tone. So we have ufo with, but once we make it ufo with, then that makes it a house of books, a house of books, and a house of books is what we call a school. So the raising of the tone here, abasi, makes it gift of God, gift of God, or simply just God's gift. And this is a female name. So next we're moving to Edikan, right? Edikan simply means victory. This is a name for a male. So the root of the word, the verb root is adikan, is kan. Adikan means to win or to be victorious. Adikan means to win or to be victorious. So I have an example sentence here. Ami me ukan bien. Ami me ukan bien. Ami me ukan bien. So that's said slowly. Ami me ukan bien. So ami is the subject pronoun, meaning I. So we have the reinforcement. Again, if you don't understand this, go back and watch series 3, episode 1, I believe, the lesson on subject pronouns. So this is the subject pronoun marker for the first person singular, M. It can also sometimes be an N for the first person singular. But for the present perfect tense, which is what this is the present perfect tense marker, i.e. have, we use the M and not the N. So I mean, me ukan. So we already know what this means. This is the verb meaning win or be victorious. U here is the object infix for the second person singular. So it means this, which is you. So the you that you would use at the start of a sentence, as in the subject pronoun, is not the same you that you would use at the end of a sentence, i.e. the object pronoun. So I've put this in red because this goes together, and I've put this in pink because this goes together with this. So I mean, me ukan bien. So you don't actually need this here. You can just get rid of that, and it would still mean the same thing. I have beaten you. So this you represents the you, this singular you. So we have I, and then we have the reinforcement. I have me. This is the uh, tense marker, and then we have the object infix for the second person singular, and then we have the verb, and then we can reinforce that by having the object pronoun for the second person singular. I mean, no can have beaten you. So notice how the changing of the A here in this word, adikan. So the changing of this letter to an E makes it from an infinitive verb to a noun. So simply by changing it from this to an E, we have the noun, the name, which is victory. This is a noun, right? And that happens often in the video. Again, it's the same thing here. We have adidion. So in the context of names, adidion means to bless, to bless. In the context of names and of course religion, adidion means to bless. But if we change this A to an E, we have the name edidion, which is blessing, a blessing. So it's actually edidion. You could actually have abasi. So abasi is the word by itself, but once we hyphenate it, once we add it to another word, we then would have to change the tone of this first syllable after the first word. So the tone of the word, the second word, once the words are together, is raised to signify the the relationship between the two words. That these are not just two single words; they're actually now related. So Edidi Abasi would mean God's blessing. But a lot of times, all these names with the Abasi is often just omitted because it's sort of redundant. Because most names in Vivio are sort of religious names. So a lot of times you wouldn't actually have to say Abasi. So someone who is called Eno in Abasi would often just be called Eno. Someone called Ididian Abasi would just be called Ididian normally. Someone called CKnaija would be called Sekan. Again, another word that you can use rather than Abasi is Obo. So O. So these two O's are the same. And we go back to our vowels and we see A, E, I, A, E, O, and we notice that it's this O that we use. So Obo. So Eno, Obo. Obo means Lord, or it can mean Lord. In the context of religion, it means Lord. It can mean chief. It can mean, it's a title basically. It can mean God, all these sort of things. Because you could say Lord God, Obo Nagasi. So, but anyway, what I was saying is someone called in Obo or in Obasi would often just be called Eno. Someone called Edikan Abasi, God's victory, would just be called Edikan. Someone called Edidian Abasi would just be called Edidian. So, but like I was saying, to bless, this is just in context, in some context. Adidion. So let's go back to the verb. So adidion can have some other meanings. So this is a word with two low tones, D. So adidion can mean to fix, to repair, to improve, to decorate. It can mean to repair, and of course, it can mean to bless. This is a name, adidion, that is unisex, like I said, and just to emphasize the different meanings of the word adidion, in different contexts, I have given some examples here. So the first example is ame nyem adidion ekebendise. So ame, so that means I. Again, we don't always need the subject pronouns, because we have the subject pronoun marker. So this N has the same meaning as the ame, the I. So we don't always need that, as always. But it's just there for reinforcement, especially if you're learning the language. It's good to learn it with the subject pronoun and the subject pronoun markers, object pronouns and object pronoun markers, and to practice that so you learn to just associate them quickly. So yem is the noun here, and we also have the verb, and we also have another verb here. Then we have a noun, ekebendise. Ekebe means box, nise means picture. Nise, ndise. So the emphasis on the n here, the raising of that tone, means a box of pictures. So a box of pictures is what we call a television. Me is the possessive word for my, meaning my. So believe that is it. So anyway, ame nyem means I want, right? Here we use this is the present tense. We use the N for the subject pronoun, the first person subject pronoun. I, we use the N rather than the M that we use here. to represent I. We have the verb yem. We have the infinitive marker id, which means to. We have diong. Because we're talking about television, this often means to repair or fix. So someone will say, I want to fix. And then we have ekebendise, which means television. And we have me, which means my. I mean, yeah, I want to fix or repair my television. Often in Biblia, people will just say TV rather than ekebendise. You won't hear people saying that. But because we're learning the language, it's good to learn the proper words, of course. The next example I have is a different context for the word dion. The root of the word root, the verb root. So again, we have aminyen, I want. Actually, let's change this to afo, I am. So let's make this red. So this is a low tone A, afo, a, meaning you want. So you want to dion, meaning decorate. Ubed, meaning groom. Mfo, meaning your. So this is your for the second person singular. So afoyem adidiom ubed mfo. Afoyem adidiom ubed mfo means you want to decorate your room. This was aminyem adidiom ekebendisen. Afoyem adidiom ubed mfo. The last context I'm going to show is the context of religion, where the name comes from, where the name is used, which the name utilizes. So we have the sentence, yeah, abasi, udiong, bien. So if we go back here, where was it? To this example, we saw that the word fien, the subject infix, the object infix, has this object infix marker, you, for the second person singular. And that, again, we see that again here. So yak basically means here, may. We know that abasi means God. We know that dion means bless. And fin means you. But we have to put the object pronoun infix here, the u, the you, u. So again, we don't actually need this word here. We can just have yabasudio, and that means may God bless you. The next example we have is the name Inemeset. Inemeset. So Inemeset is another name that is unisex. It can mean happiness, it can mean sweetheart. So adinem is the verb root. Adinem means to be sweet, to be delicious, to be enjoyable, and to be pleasant. Right? Inem, inem. So two high tones here. Inem. So don't. So remember here, this was a low tone. Adi, nim, nim. Then once we go to the adjective, it's nim, two high tones. And then we have eset, 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 meaning heart, chest, inside. So inem is the adjective, meaning a sweet something, delicious something, enjoyable something. So, for example, we have inimwe, amingekod, inimwe. I was reading a pleasant book, an enjoyable book. Don't forget that if doesn't use articles, so you have to assume the a or the an. We have another example. Inemdidia. Ame. Ngedia. Inemdidia. I was eating some delicious food. Delicious food. So you can see that the meaning is context dependent. So we have another example, I believe. Inemeset me, right? So inemeset me. So adine means sweet, eset means heart. So you can see that it can mean sweetheart. Sweetheart, quite literally meaning sweetheart. So this is something that people can call their partners, my sweetheart, my happiness. That's how we describe the feeling of happiness. You say, eset meaning. So my heart is sweet. My heart is in a good mood, basically. My heart is sweet. That basically means I am happy. So he never said, many never said, or esrenem. Those are the two ways you can say I am happy. The more natural way is to say esrenem, esrenem, or men never said. So the next name that we are going to dissect is the name Ikaite. This is the final name we're going to dissect today. Ikaite. So this quite literally means, so Eka means mother, two low tones. Ete means father, a low tone and a high tone. Ete means father. It can also be a way of addressing someone who's older than you, a man, of course, who's older than you. And also, so how to address someone who's man who's older than you. You call him Ete. So you can say Ete mesiere, which basically is like saying, sir, good morning. You can also use it to refer to a man. So this is not addressing an older or man, but this is actually referring to a man. So for example, if you wanted to say, I went and saw the man, you would say, Maka Gekadero, Edero. So that man, I went and saw that man, but using the word Ede rather than Awuded, which actually means man. So Ikaite is a name, it's obviously a name for females. It's a name that's used to give honor or essentially to give honor or give respect to the paternal grandmother of the child. So you would call it Ikaite, which basically means, so again, by changing the tone of the second word, the first syllable of the second word, to a higher tone, what we're basically doing is showing an association between the two words. So rather than just eka and ete, we say ekaete, which makes it the mother of the father, which is what it means. Eka means mother, so the mother. The change in tone means that, and ete means father. So the literal meaning is mother of father. Mother of father is what it means, and mother of father is the father's mother or the paternal grandmother. So the interesting word of this video is doma, doma, or. So it's a, e, o, the o sound. And with the line on top basically signifies an ng sound. That sound like swimming, that sound at the end. So as always, I always try and emphasize the importance of tones in the video. I was trying to emphasize the importance of tones. And this is another example where the tone of something can get you into trouble if you don't get the tones right. So if we take this word and we divide it into its 3 syllables, so we have the first syllable, the second syllable, and the third syllable. So if we say it like this, with all high tones, do, so do, mo, domo, domo, means to start, to begin, to commence. So for example, you can say aridomo ito, which means to start a race. Ito meaning a race. Saying it in the same way, it can also mean, so this is exactly the same, with the exact same tones, can also mean to kneel. But if you're saying to kneel, you would have to add the word for knees. So this edo means knees, knee or knees. So if you add the word knees to this, adidomo, edo, basically makes it to kneel down. If you want to tell someone to kneel down, you can't just use this part of the verb, you have to use the whole thing with the word knees added to it. Now let's get to the interesting part of the tones. Now, if we change the tones again and we make it two low tones at the start and a high tone, it completely changes the meaning of the word and it makes it to defecate. And it's not only to defecate, but this word is used in very, very bad situations. So it's always used in the context of diarrhea. So if you went to the hospital and you said to the doctor, Doctor, that means I am having quite bad diarrhea. So as you can see, you know, if you don't get the right tone, you can, so for example, if you wanted to tell someone to start something and you wanted to tell them start and you got the tones wrong, you can basically be telling them to defecate. And that's, would be quite funny. So again, Ibibio is a very tonal dependent language. So when you're learning, always, and when you're speaking, always, always, always make sure that you're using the right tone, using the right tones, because often in the language, the changing of one or two tones can change a word from an innocent meaning like to start, and it can mean, and it can change it to mean to be having diarrhea. So yes, so I'm going to keep, so I think we've done 5 names, yes. So this was the first episode. They are obviously more complicated names in video/ever. So I'm going to carry on doing the series. It seems quite a nice way to dissect the grammatical rules of a language, and obviously by giving such examples as we see here, example sentences, I think it's a good way to learn the language. I mean, obviously I can just tell you the name and tell you the meaning in English, but then you would just be memorizing rather than learning. And what we want to do is to learn. So we just learn. We learn the verb roots. We learn the other meanings they can have, and then we put it into context. We learn all the other meanings. We need to dissect this language and learn it properly, and that's what my channel is all about. Okay, so this is something that's easy enough to do quickly. I only just put this together this evening. So I think in the future, if I don't have time to do a proper lesson with the board and do all these things in a proper lesson plan, I'm just going to pick 5 names like this and dissect them properly so that so that I can further help you in learning the beautiful language that is video, even when I'm busy. Okay. So yes, thank you for watching this episode, and hopefully I will see you all soon. Right? And yeah, so happy New Year. Hopefully 2021 will be a much better year than 2020. I mean, it can only be better. It can't. get any worse. So yeah, enjoy your new year. Stay safe, socially distance, and all that stuff. And let's fingers crossed. Next Christmas is a lot better than the 2020. Right, all right. Ikaite, goodbye. See ya.